This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, love, and salutations to the Akim that's out there laboring, that's out the hope for elect, that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. And we're seeing this man's true identity and true intentions of the heart being unraveled in these last days. Speaking of Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, okay, pretty much his biblical nationality is Edom, which he runs from that. And he pretty much has disguised his identity under many other names. And chiefly, he's considered by the world as, Real the Chief House, okay? Pretty much, when you want to talk about the top tribe, Amalek, okay? Which pretty much is running the tables, so to speak, in the earth, okay? That's the top tribe of Edom, okay, which pretty much is known as the JWOs, okay, and they pretty much are hiding under that disguise as well. Now, pretty much, I'm gonna play this clip, and we're understanding that this is all under the guise of Edomite supremacy, which Edom pretty much is trying to establish in the earth in a carnal sense, okay, because you gotta remember, when Isaac gave the blessing to his sons, you know who got the blessing. Jacob got the blessing, okay? And the only other blessing that Esau received was the blessing of the sword, okay? And he told him that by the sword thou shalt live, okay? And you will pretty much inhabit, the high places of the earth, so to speak, okay? The fatness of the earth. Okay, but this is only going to be for a certain dispensation of time. And this man has exercised his power, his blessing, to the fullest of his ability. And we're pretty much at the end of this whole thing. Okay, it says Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You see, and we're into that time where these growing pains are pretty much getting more and more intense. Okay, as far as things that are going on in the earth, okay, and it's pretty much we're seeing this place enter into utter destruction mode soon, okay, and pretty much I want to play this clip that's gonna really sum up, all right, Edomite supremacy that's being established in a carnal sense, okay. This is why you're seeing death at a larger rate or all around the earth, okay? We're seeing things that are being done, okay, where people are so now programmed to turn a blind eye to. But just to pretty much shape it up, the point of this lesson, let me just play this clip, okay, by Sahib Bassam, pretty much of Middle Nation. Okay, now he pretty much makes true statements, okay, and pretty much he sums it up in a nutshell. So without any further ado, I'm going to play this clip and then we're going to get some scriptures.
Well, I did a post the other day, or yesterday, on X, where I said that Zionism is white supremacy with a yarmulke on, and that it's nothing but Yiddish for Western colonization. So, of course, I got a bunch of replies trying to correct me, saying that it isn't white supremacy, it's Jewish supremacy. See, this is them activating the built-in blame-shifting mechanism, which is the whole point. You're literally pointing to the yarmulke as the reason for all this, the reason for the occupation, the reason for the genocide. And I'm telling you that is exactly why they put the yarmulke on in the first place. But either you don't get it, or you don't want to get it, or you don't want anyone else to get it. You somehow want to exonerate the actual architects, the actual funders, promoters, arms providers, financiers, policymakers, and so on, who are in fact responsible for Zionism, who are responsible for the occupation, who are responsible for the genocide. It's absolutely laughable to me. Like, you're strangling me, but you put a sock puppet on your hand. And you want me to actually believe that you're not the one strangling me, it's the sock puppet. This is an insult to my intelligence.
And that's pretty much...
Of course, I already know I'll get a bunch...
That's pretty much the gist of the point. Okay? And this is under the guise of Amalek, the chief tribe of Edom, the Dukes of Edom. Okay? And he's pretty much has had free range in the earth to control things. Okay? And this is the reason why you have a lot of these movements, okay, here in the United States. Chiefly, you had the civil rights movement, okay? And this pretty much was just a guise to really open up people's rights and liberties, okay? But it was, basically they used Jake as the mouthpiece of it. But it really benefits a lot of these other people, man. Chiefly the JWs, man. Okay? You see, because now, all right, they pretty much try to ostracize you for even speaking of that. But it's just a guise to Edomite supremacy, all it is at the end of the day. You see? Okay? And you have a few bunch of people that pretty much at the top that are pretty much running the tables, man. Okay? You see? And pretty much this man is using that as a guise to rule the world, so to speak, man. Okay? All right? The things that you're seeing going on in the earth, man. All right? Now, let me get a scripture real quick. Okay? Because this man is pretty much being uncovered, man, as we speak, man. All right? Let's go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah 49, verse 10. And it says, "But I have made Esau bare, and have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not." Okay, and he's pretty much, man, you got a lot of people that are pretty much associated and in line with this man's agenda at the end of the day, man. Okay? All right, you got pretty much the people in Congress bought and paid for. Okay, you see, all right, and they always have to create these narratives, man. Okay, so they, instead of them just blatantly just doing things in the name of Edomite supremacy, okay, they pretty much use that pretty much the small hat as the fall guy, so to speak. Okay, and then when you point to your finger at the small hat, okay, all right. There's actually institutions and advocacy groups in place to pretty much tell you not to call them out. You see, okay, and that saying always goes, pretty much, who's in power when you know who you can't talk about. Okay, roughly paraphrasing. You see. Okay, but everything's all coming out, man. But I don't want to play too much more of that clip. But he pretty much lets you know that he's not the real people that belong in that land. Okay, and the world is pretty much waking up to that. Okay, pretty much when you go into what do you want to call Western Asia? Okay, all right. The people there in that region pretty much know, okay, that they don't belong in that land. Okay, they also know that they're just occupiers, man. Okay, you see, so the truth is pretty much coming out, man, and this is why you're having so much instability in that region, man. Okay, all right, but pretty much, man, the Lord is stirring this thing up, man. Okay, you see, all right. We jump down to verse 20. Just want to get the important parts of here. This is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20. "Therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. You see, okay, and we're seeing how this man is using, okay, Amalek is pretty much stirring up chaos over there in that region, man. Okay, and it's gonna pretty much draw this western side, okay, Babylon into this whole mix, man. You see, okay, Babylon has been pretty much the muscle behind what Amalek has been doing in the around the earth, man. Okay, all right, and the policies are pretty much being controlled behind the scenes by Amalek, man. Okay, they're the ones that are pretty much the manipulators of things getting passed, foreign policy. You see, okay, and it's all under the guise of pretty much establishing Edomite supremacy in the earth, man. Okay, you see, right? From there, let's go to Psalms. Psalms chapter 64, verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Because we need to be hid from these secret counsels of the wicked, man. Because why? It's because at the end of the day, all right, when I first read it in Genesis, okay, that he's gonna slay his brother, that pretty much is a perpetual hatred, man. Okay, all right, that you still see today. This is why you have so much aggression towards Jacob, all right, toward Esau, man, from Edom, okay. And they don't really understand why. They can't give you a straight up answer though, man. But this is a spiritual thing, man. Okay, you see. But they were able to kill multiple birds with one stone, man. And what I mean by that is by saying that they took your identity, okay, you Negro Latinos and Native Americans chiefly, okay, your true biblical identity, okay, put it on their own. So now, because they knew that the awakening was gonna come, okay, so now you can't claim something that's already been claimed already, pretty much. And this man has taken it upon himself to establish his own blessing, okay, and his own blessing by carnal means, man. Okay, all right, not to have where it was this given to him by our forefather, okay. He pretty much got the consolation prize, but he's using his consolation prize to the fullest of his ability to establish the original blessing to begin with, man. Okay, you see, but it's going to be for naught. All right, it says, right, secret counsel of the wicked who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot arrows, even bitter words. And this is pretty much what they do, man. Okay, they are shooting, they are whetting their tongue like a sword, man. Okay, the future endeavors are what they want to do on the earth. Okay, of how they pretty much accomplished impoverishing nations. Okay, all right, and robbing them their resources, man. Okay, you see, all right, but they bend their bows and shoot their arrows, and they have bitter words, man. They do a lot of threatening, man. Okay, all right, they talk big stuff to people, man. Okay, and they pretty much have gotten their ways, because why? It's because of that petrodollar that was pretty much has a stranglehold on the earth, man. But we're seeing now that is the influence, okay, and that the power of that dollar is a weakening, man. Okay, so the influence is not there, and this man is pretty much on a world stage right now, man. And the world is seeing the atrocities, okay, that this man is committing, man. Okay, you see, and it's undeniable. You see, okay. But only people here in Babylon are so punch drunk, okay, because really it's like a media block on a lot of things that are happening out there outside of these borders, man. Okay, all right. But through the power of social media, people are pretty much are seeing things for what it is. Okay, you see, it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot and fear not. Okay, right, and that's pretty much the perfect is the children of Israel, man. Okay, all right, because they're shooting in secret at Jake. Okay, all right, they have plans to destroy Jake, man. At the end of the day, you see. Okay, and don't forget about that secret council that they had, okay, with these other nations, man, that kept the hidden ones hidden, okay, hundreds of trillions of dollars have been spent, okay, keeping the truth from the world, man. Okay, you see, all right, And these, whenever you speak, you've seen a lot of these religious or spiritual relics, okay, being destroyed, man. Okay, you see, it says they encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privately, saying, "Who shall see them?" And the world has been fooled, man. Okay, you see, because now we're seeing they're pointing the finger at a certain sect of people, okay, that you cannot say anything about, man. You see, but really it's under the guise of Edomite supremacy, man. That's being established in the earth, man. Okay, that's all it is at the end of the day, man. Okay, you see, all right. So it says, they search our iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. You see? Okay? And pretty much, man, they this has been craftily planned out, man. You know? Because this is why they always gave the people, all right, this is why you had, you know, these rights movement groups, you know, the alphabet community. Do you want to talk about the BLM? You know, and they had them run their course, you know, okay. But really, the whole thing is reason why they brought up these different rights activist groups was because when it's time for them to really get busy in the earth, when they want to try to point at the small hat, you know, they run under the same guise as civil liberties and civil rights. You know, and speaking of, oh, you can't speak about them. You can't do that. Oh, everything is pretty much a touchy situation. Okay, not to offend anybody, not to speak, you know, and accuse people of things. You see, okay, and they have so many people mouthpieces that are pretty much protecting that disguise that he puts on, man. Okay, you see, all right. But a matter of fact, man, I'm going to play a little bit more of that because I want to grab a little bit more out of what he's saying out of this clip.
Comments of people saying that America is the puppet of the Zionists and not the other way around, because the Jewish lobby, which is not even in the top 20 highest spending lobbies in America, you think that controls the politicians. This is a bad joke. As if America has to be forced at gunpoint or under threat of Epstein blackmail to support occupation and genocide. The country literally founded on genocide. The country that wiped out the Native Americans, massacred Mexicans, massacred Filipinos, occupied Afghanistan for 20 years, still has occupation forces in Iraq, occupied and colonized Hawaii and Puerto Rico, you know, supports Paul Kagame, who's...
And he's been taking vengeance on Jacob ever since, man. Okay? All right? And still is to this day. You see? Okay? Right? Play no more.
Implicated in the events that led to the genocide in Rwanda, and through him they support M23, which massacres the people in DRC. What are you talking about? America killed directly or indirectly 10 million civilians in my lifetime in Central America, South America, Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and so on. Now you pretend like they have to be forced against their will, against their character, to support the occupation of Palestine and the genocide in Gaza. This is their character. That yarmulke is only on there for plausible deniability. You'll say, oh yeah, but the Jews impose apartheid and segregation and unequal rights. Oh, you mean like every Western colonial project ever? And look, Jewish. What Jewish? 65 to 70% of all so-called Jews in Israel are atheists. I mean, half of all...
That's the point right there, okay? All right? That's the point right there, all right? Most Edomites are atheists, okay, when you check it out. You see? So it's definitely it cannot be of the children of Israel at the end of the day, okay? All right, for them to be a straight atheist, okay, living in the land, okay, in that land. You see? Okay? That's the main point right there. Okay? You see? All right? This man is the biggest hypocrite that you will ever see. All right? You see? All right, so with that, I'm going to end it there, and I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, Shalom.